This is the newsroom.
This is the newsroom for today, Monday, August 5, 2019. We are broadcasting to you on E1 and Star TV in Georgetown and Tarsi TV in Bartica. In the headlines, Chief Justice Acting Roxanne George Wiltshire will deliver her ruling on the legal challenge to the ongoing house-to-house registration exercise on August 14.
And that's what I'm telling the judge, that for how long will we not bail the cat?
The CCJ said it would not set deadlines or timelines for the constitutional actors. They expect that they have the constitutional responsibilities and they would execute them with integrity.
A man is injured after jumping through a window to safety from a burning house in Berbice. One person is arrested and items recovered following robbery of GCOM enumerators. In tonight's feature, a mother turns into a successful fish vendor after her husband is killed in a mining accident. And sport, Akeem Green and I preview Tuesday's T20 International between West Indies and India at Providence. With the news, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. The Chief Justice Acting Roxanne George Wiltshire has set August 14 to deliver her ruling in the house-to-house registration exercise. Arguments concluded in the High Court on Monday, with the attorneys for Christopher Ram asking the court to set a time frame for elections and the Attorney General asking for the registration exercise to be allowed to continue. Bibi Katoon reports.
Attorney Chris Ram on July 22nd filed an injunction in the High Court challenging the constitutionality of the ongoing house-to-house registration exercise. Chief Justice Acting Roxanne George Wiltshire on Monday concluded hearings in the case. In his closing argument, Ram's attorney Anand Nandlal asked the Chief Justice to set a time frame for national elections in her ruling, which will be delivered on August 14th. Alluding to the litigations which followed the passage of the December 21st no-confidence motion, Nandlal argued that the lack of sternness from the court has led to the prolonging of the issue. Speaking with the media after the hearing, Nandlal said the court should not exercise restraint in this ruling.
The CCJ said the same thing, that the Constitution must be obeyed and that the elections must be fixed within the constitutional time frame. But the executive is simply disobeying it and simply trampling upon the clear language of the Constitution. And that's what I'm telling the judge, that for how long will we not bail the cat? How long are we going to engage in all kinds of diplomatic and intellectual exchanges where we are not bailing the cat? We are not speaking about the elephant in the room. And I beseech this court not to act with restraint again. We are here because the court acted with restraint since January.
The Attorney General Basil Williams and his team of lawyers, which included Solicitor General Nigel Hogg, argued that it is not the court's place to set the elections. The AG said the matter is now a political one, which lies with the political leaders to come to an agreement on a plausible date for elections.
The CCJ said it would not set deadlines or timelines for the constitutional actors. They expect that they have a constitutional responsibility and execute them with integrity, but they never give any guidelines to organize. So those would be GCOM. And of course, they refuse to name a date, which is within the province of the president.
Further, Williams asked the court to allow the Guyana Elections Commission GCOM to move ahead with the ongoing house-to-house registration exercise. The Attorney General told the court it is just a matter of weeks for the process to be completed.
We pointed to the contention of the applicant, Mr. Ram, that it was not lawful for GCOM to embark on a new house-to-house registration, and we were able to show that it was lawful because the Constitution provided for GCOM the compiled register on Act 159.5, and that's what GCOM has embarked on. And the method of doing that is by house-to-house visits, and that is lawful.
The house-to-house registration exercise, which began July 20th, is set to complete on October 20th. While some political commentators believe the process will not be completed on time, the Chief Elections Officer, who is also responding to it, has noted that all measures are being put in place to finish the process by the specified date. Be Cartoon Newsroom.
We tell you now, the lone occupant of a house which went up in flames had to be rushed to Skeldon Hospital on Sunday evening after he suffered minor burns along with injuries to his eyes when he jumped through a window to save himself. Nigel Colmore reports.
The 50-year-old John was asleep in his living room chair at around 9:30 hours on Sunday evening when he was awoken to dense black smoke emanating from the ceiling in the back room.
I went downstairs to get a bucket, but when I go up now, I couldn't do nothing with the bucket. I couldn't have done nothing with the bucket. The flame, it wasn't flame, but it was extreme smoke. When I get up with the bucket, I couldn't do nothing, and then it was started to flame then inside the house though. And the smoke just get me, I can't move. I tried to find a window in front of the house. I couldn't find none to open. And I barely get to the side. I barely make it to the side and I feel one open. And then I hear Sor went over and Sor said, Carl, yes, open the window. Right? And wait, don't jump. So he said, hold on. He pulled the table. And when I go to go over and I turn, the flame was like in my face.
He was rushed to the Skeldon Hospital on Sunday evening after suffering minor burns along with injuries to his eyes.
Well, the main thing right now, my fingers, but the main thing is my eyes. I can't see properly with it. My eyes, I can't really see properly with my eyes.
He sought additional help for his eyes at the National Ophthalmology Hospital at Port Royal. Rushball stated that he intends to contact the Guyana Power and Light Agency GPL to inquire as to the possible cause of the mysterious fire. Rushball approximates his losses to be around $23 million as the now destroyed house was recently renovated. It was noted by Rishi Ram that the police were the first to arrive at the scene and they called the Caribbean fire station. However, firefighters did not arrive on the scene until just beyond 30 minutes after the call for help was made. It was also alleged by residents that when firefighters arrived, the pump was not functioning nor was there any water to fight the flames. Nigel Collymore, Newsroom.
Rennie Anthony Juman is recovering at the Georgetown Public Hospital after he was chopped 12 times to the head and badly beaten during an early morning robbery on Sunday at his New Amsterdam East Berbice home. Isnal Patwa reports.
Early Sunday, two bandits armed with a cutlass and crowbar attacked, robbed and badly beat 30-year-old Rennie Anthony Juman at his Ancois Avenue, New Amsterdam home at about 2 hours. Relatives told the newsroom Monday that he is recovering from his injuries at the Georgetown Public Hospital. He suffered a broken jaw, fractured shoulder and injuries to the brain. His mother and stepfather were also beaten by the bandits. The stepfather, 50-year-old Mohammed Ishmael, told the newsroom that Juman works with a popular supermarket in New Amsterdam and went to collect his salary Saturday. According to the stepfather, after Juman returned home, he fell asleep on the veranda and left the door open. Juman was later awoken by the bandits who demanded cash and valuables.
These bandits them now come in. They jump the fence to the side here. And jump up the shed zinc and come in. From the time they come in, they start tap you up like a bar and lash you up. When that happen, I got to get up. Same time me go get up now. One air rush in the room and choke me. Choke me right on the stomach. And this is what I big this morning.
Juman's mother, Bibi Shamila Ali, and his stepfather were awoken by sounds coming from the veranda. The stepfather said when he was about to check, he was confronted by one of the bandits who squeezed a device connected to his chest that is used for his dialysis treatment. However, one of the bandits gave instructions to leave him alone and look for his wife.
He chopped the body in the head. Chop. The teeth were lash you up. Broke out the teeth in front. Break his shoulder. Right.
Did they hurt your wife?
Yes, the last wife. And she hit.
The bandits managed to escape with an undisclosed sum of cash. A relative rushed Juman to the New Amsterdam hospital, but according to the stepfather, the hospital was not equipped to help and they took him to a private hospital in the city.
They have nothing to treat him with. They doesn't have an X-ray to X-ray him. They are going to do everything private. Now, they don't want to discharge him. Right? What are you gonna keep him in there to do? So will I take self-discharge? The mother self-discharged him, and he hired balancing ambulance and took him to balancing to admit there.
The family remains traumatized by the incident and investigations are ongoing. Reporting from Newsroom, Estinella Patwell.
In the courts now, Guyanese cricketer Christopher Barnwell on Monday appeared before City Magistrate Shardel Isaacs Marcus for allegedly assaulting a police officer at Thomas Lance, Georgetown during a cricket match. Barnwell pleaded not guilty to the charge, which alleged that on March 25, 2019 at Thomas Lance, he assaulted police officer Trevor Benn. He was released on $30,000 bail, and the matter is adjourned until August 19, 2019. The prosecutor alleged that on the day in question, Barnwell and Ben got into an argument during a cricket match. At the time of the incident, Ben was not on duty. During the ordeal, it is alleged that Barnwell became annoyed and pushed Ben to the ground. Ben received minor injuries to the hand. Barnwell was a West Indies cricketer who played first-class cricket and now plays for the Guyana Jaguars. He is an all-rounder. When the newsroom returns, a man is arrested and items recovered following robbery of GCOM enumerators, and in tonight's feature, a mother turns into a successful fish vendor after her husband is killed in a mining accident. Stay tuned. Of being sent an administrative leave pending investigations into her conduct, the Director of Youth, Melissa Carmichael, has denied allegations of wrongdoing on her part. The Department of Youth and Sport on August 2 noted in a statement that the Youth Director was sent an administrative leave following a directive issued by the Public Service Commission, the PSC, through which she was hired. The decision to send her leave, the department said, is a legitimate step in an ongoing investigation. As part of the process, the Commission instructed that Permanent Secretary Melissa Tucker engage the Guyana Police Force in an attempt to bring resolve of the matter. The department also explained that this directive was the result of a months-long engagement between the entity and the PSC, during which Michael was afforded due process to the fullest extent of the public service rules and regulations. However, in denying the accusations made against her, the youth director, in a statement on Sunday, described as totally false and misleading the statement, which suggested that she was afforded due process. Carmichael revealed that those allegations were not brought to her attention by any of the involved parties. The issue allegedly stemmed from financial irregularities and malpractices in 2017, when the Department of Youth partnered with a non-governmental organization called Community Family Youth Resilience Program to host a series of youth camps. And 29 youths from across Guyana will have the opportunity to learn about the functions and operations of the natural resources sector. The ministry on Monday launched its third annual Youth in Natural Resources Apprenticeship Program. Isabel Patwa was there and she filed this report.
The third annual Youth in Natural Resources Apprenticeship Program was officially launched on Monday at Birdman Lodge in Georgetown. Over the next 3 weeks, the 29 youths selected for the program from the 10 administrative regions in Guyana will have first-hand knowledge of the extractive industry. The youth will be touring the local offices of petroleum companies and communities that engage in gold and bauxite mining and forestry operations. According to the Minister of Natural Resources, Raphael Trotman, in addition to the introduction to natural resources, the youth will also be visiting the savannas in the Rupununi, the Guyana-Suriname border, and the Iwakramo Nature Reserve.
We hope to expose you to wondrous things, places, and people, and stretch you both physically and mentally. The aim is not to break you or to remake you, but to touch your hearts and minds, so that you see each other, as I believe was well said by Emmanuel. You see each other differently. You see nature, the natural resources, and the communities you engage in a whole new way.
Minister Trotman said the aim is to involve youth in the protection and preservation of natural resources and provide in-depth knowledge of the sector through interactive and training sessions.
We believe then, and still do now, that if we do not actively engage young people in a meaningful way in the sector, we stand to lose the gains we have made, because there will be no one with desire, passion, and commitment to take up the cause when we would have moved on.
The program caters to youths between 15 and 18 years old. The students had to submit a photo collage, an essay, or a 3-minute video on different topics. States. She spoke about her experience.
Desire to make an impact in innovation of sustainability and green engineering. With 2 uncles and a grandfather as engineers, it seemed like it ran in my blood. So I came to the program, wide-eyed and oblivious to how I could complete a task as big as changing the world in a country that seemed as small as Guyana. The key word here is seemed. Why was I wrong? Engineering is larger than life. It's about taking one small step for mankind and leading us in a positive direction.
The program is in collaboration with the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the Ministry of Social Protection, the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, the Guyana Gold Board, the Guyana Forestry Commission, and MACORP. At the launch on Monday, it was noted that a Youth in Natural Resources alumni will also be introduced. Reporting for Newsroom, Isnella Pato.
The police in A Division have arrested one person in connection with the robbery of enumerators attached to the Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM. Bibi Katoon tells us more.
Commander of A Division Marlon Chapman on Monday confirmed that 3 enumerators attached to the Guyana Elections Commission GCOM were robbed on Sunday afternoon. The persons were robbed of their personal belongings along with registration forms and other documents belonging to GCOM at Covent Garden East Bank, Demerara. The enumerators were reportedly attacked by a male armed with a knife while they were conducting the house-to-house registration exercise. GCOM's public relations officer Yolanda Ward told the newsroom that all of the items were recovered on the same day and the suspect was arrested. Following threats to its employees, GCOM on Wednesday last said it is seeking police protection for its officers. Ward said the commission is still engaged in the Guyana Police Force on the matter, but whenever reports are made, the police promptly act on those reports. The house-to-house registration began on July 20th and is set to conclude on October 20th. Bibi Katoon reporting for the newsroom.
When a mining pit collapsed and killed her husband 9 years ago, Nandaranya Ronita Harpal had to find a way to provide for her 2 daughters. Now she tells the newsroom's Isabella Patwa how turning to being a fish vendor fed her family and sent her girls to school. Look.
In life, you will face some sort of challenge. It does not matter who you are, but it is how you face the challenge that matters. Life for 40-year-old Nandaranya Harpal, commonly known as Ronita, changed drastically after an open mining pit caved in on her husband in Madhya on March 2, 2010. Karen Rupinrine, 32 years old at the time, was in the mining pit with a Jamaican national when the walls caved in and pinned both men at the bottom. Karen was the main source of income for his family. After his death, Renita stepped up and started selling fish at the Monrepo market on the east coast of Demerara and have been providing for her family ever since.
Well, since he died, things has been rough. And then I used to work with some domestic, and then I started selling with my sister in the market, and then my sister go away, and then I take over.
While many can relate to the many struggles single parents face, Renita said she did not find it hard to raise her two daughters on her own.
It's not hard to raise two girl children from my own because I get help from the families.
With help from her eldest daughter, Renita wakes up early and heads out to the market 5 days a week and only returns home until all the fish is sold out.
I go out from Monday to Thursday and Saturday, and Friday is rest day, and Sunday we go to church. I've been selling fish for the past 10 years since my husband died in the market. That is smoked catfish. I just do smoked catfish, smoke it and sell it in the market.
Renita's youngest daughter, 10-year-old Angelina, also helps her out at the market on holidays and weekends.
I like swimming, dancing, singing, but the most I enjoy is helping my mother at the market. Only like when I am part-time from school, when it's holidays, and so forth.
Angelina does not remember her father. She was just a baby when he died. She dreams of becoming a doctor when she grows up.
School is very fun. I learn new things every day. I will go to lessons through summer on Mondays to Thursdays, so I will help my mother when I'm not going to lessons. I would wish if I could become a magician to bring back my father and other dead people from the dead, but I can't. So I would like to be a doctor to help save people.
Being a single mother is never easy, especially juggling a full-time job and raising your children.
It's very hard for a single parent family to work all the time.
Meanwhile, the grandmother, Ramdai, said she's proud of her daughter and granddaughter. She said Angelina never misses a day of school, always gets awards for perfect attendance.
You know, they grew up, the two of them, and she and the other one, they grew up without, father. And if they can do good, I wish them good. And then I want to say that, she likes school. She don't miss school. She always gets best attendance. Since from nursery.
Renita is encouraging parents to pay attention to their children's education.
It's good to have a family relationship. So parents, you should go out and support your children.
The single mother is also encouraging single parents to be strong and not give up when life throws you that curveball.
Just ahead on the newsroom, the financial, weather and bridge reports along with headlines from the region and around the world. Stay tuned.
Survival's whole
Newsroom is in Patwa's headlines from the Caribbean and around the world.
Thank you, Avinash. Here's what's happening in the region. A drug dealer in Brazil was caught trying to escape from the jail where he was locked up by disguising himself as his 19-year-old daughter. Prison authorities in Rio de Janeiro released a video showing the inmate wearing a wig, a silicone mask, a bra, and a tight-fitting t-shirt, the BBC reported. The 42-year-old removes the items one by one to reveal a muscular physique very unlike that of his daughter. Officials said the daughter could be charged with aiding a prison escape. They said the 19-year-old had come to visit her father, Clavina da Silva, at the jail in Rio de Janeiro, where he was serving a sentence of 73 years and 10 months. The prison authorities said da Silva was planning to leave his daughter behind while he made a dash for freedom by impersonating her. But the guards were not fooled by the homemade disguise, and after making him pose in front of the prison for photos they released to the press, the convict was returned to a cell. The St. Kitts Nevis government has defended its decision to establish diplomatic relations with Palestine, saying, as a small nation, they are a friend to all and foe to none. Israel, with whom St. Kitts Nevis also has diplomatic relations, has so far not made any official statement on the political development, but Times of Israel quotes a government website as saying that Israel has maintained warm diplomatic relations with St. Kitts since the early 1980s, when the Twin Island Federation declared independence from Britain. The newspaper quotes St. Kitts Nevis Foreign Affairs Minister Mark Brantley as saying that his country formally recognizes the state of Palestine as a free, independent and sovereign state based on its 1967 borders and East Jerusalem as its capital. Last week, the Palestinian foreign minister, on a visit to the Twin Island Federation, extended an invitation to Brantley to visit Palestine to witness firsthand progress being made there despite ongoing difficulties. In his statement, Brantley said St. Kitts and Nevis is not involved in any way in the issues between Israel and Palestine. Internationally, President Donald Trump has condemned racism, hatred, and white supremacy in an address following mass shootings that left 29 dead in Texas and Ohio. He called for mental health gun control reforms, the death penalty for those who commit mass murder, and more bipartisan cooperation over gun laws. Mental health and hate pull the trigger, not the gun, Mr. Trump said, speaking at the White House on Monday. According to the BBC, he did not express support for gun control measures proposed in Congress. The president outlined a number of policies, including more cooperation between agencies and social media companies, mental health laws, and changes to the culture of glorification of violence. He called for red flag laws that would allow law enforcement authorities to take away weapons from individuals believed to be a threat to themselves or others. Mr. Trump said government agencies must work together and identify individuals who may commit violent acts, prevent their access to firearms, and also suggested involuntary confinement as a way to stop potential attackers. He also said he directed the Justice Department to propose legislation to ensure those who commit hate crimes and mass murders to face the death penalty. India's government has revoked part of the constitution that gives Indian-administered Kashmir special status in an unprecedented move likely to spark unrest. According to the BBC, Article 370 is sensitive because it is what guarantees significant autonomy for the Muslim-majority state. There has been a long-running insurgency on the Indian side. Nuclear powers India and Pakistan have fought 2 wars and a limited conflict over Kashmir since 1947. The BBC reported that for many Kashmiris, Article 370 was the main justification for being a part of India, and by revoking it, India has irrevocably changed Delhi's relationship with the region. Pakistan condemned India's decision to revoke the special status as illegal, saying it would exercise all possible options to counter it. A musician who was close to Ugandan pop star and opposition parliamentarian Bobby Wine has died of his injuries after being abducted and tortured. Alinda Michael, known by his stage name Ziggy Wine, was managed by Bobby Wine's Firebase Crew music label. The BBC reported that he was kidnapped on July 21st on his way to recording studios in the capital, Kampala. He was found a week later missing his left eye and 2 of his fingers. He died in a hospital on Sunday night. Police say they have begun an investigation into his death, but they allege the family is not cooperating. According to the BBC, both Bobby Wine, a fierce critic of Ugandan's President Yoweri Museveni, and Ziggy Wine's family believe the state may have had a hand in the abduction. His torture and death have shocked many, and fans and journalists gathered outside the hospital earlier on Monday as the hearse carrying his body left the mortuary. And that brings us to the end of regional and international headlines. Back to you, Avinash.
Thank you, Isanella. Sport is on the other side of the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to News from Avinash Ramzan here with Tide Sport. With me is Akim Green. And we're going to start off with some cricket news. International cricket is back in Guyana tomorrow. West Indies versus India. Of course, the first two games, India winning in Florida tomorrow basically is a dead rubber. But a lot to play for the West Indies especially as they look to build to the 2020 World Cup next year. With me, as I mentioned, Akeem Green is here. We're just out of the press conference here at the Pegasus Hotel in Georgetown. Akeem, your thoughts on some of the comments we got from the interim head coach, Floyd Reefer?
Well, firstly, it seems as if though despite the series would have been lost already, the West Indies are still going to be tactical about how they go about building toward that type of defense next November. In Australia, Floyd seems to be still a bit enthusiastic. That could be a positive result here for the Guyanese fans. We talk about a lot about rotation of players, and I think that's a big key in this press conference that just happened, is that they look to get as much as possible players into the team to see now who's the best going forward. Because there may not be a lot of series, etc.
Leading up to the World Cup.
To give more exposed talent. So I think we should listen to what Floyd had to say about rotating more players tomorrow.
Yeah, you see Fabian Allen will come into the side tomorrow. And like I said, yes, it's building towards the World Cup next year. So obviously we'll expose some more talent. We have a look at the CPL as well. It starts in a few weeks. So hopefully some good talent come up there as well. And we try to get a squad together as soon as possible and build towards next year. And build towards next year, yes, we know we have to win cricket games. But the important thing for us to get that squad together and play as many games together as a squad, trying to learn each other's game, strengths, weaknesses, and play as a team.
So the West Indies have made one change from the team that played in Florida. They have brought in Fabian Allen, who was at Cricket World Cup recently, in for the left-arm spinner from Trinidad and Tobago, Harry Pierre. But there are some guys as well in the West Indies squad, and two of those players the coach spoke about today. Anthony Bramble, who's yet to debut, Akimo Paul, and he had some specific comments about those two as well.
Well, as we could soon hear, he spoke a lot about Nurse Bramble work ethics. Obviously, Bramble hasn't played yet in this series. This is main call up to the West Indies squad for any of them, as a matter of fact. But he spoke about Bramble good work ethics. Also, he spoke extensively about the impact Akimo Paul brings. That he's a good cricketer. I know he didn't have the best of outing in the last match in Florida, but Floyd Reefer is very enthusiastic about the way he wants to use Paul going forward. I think in some regards, in a synopsis, he mentioned that Paul is a very critical member of this ODI team, given his exploits in the death overs. So I think we should listen as well to what he had to say about Kimo Paul and Anthony Bramble.
Well, Bramble where ethic is good. He joined the team, and he's been asked to come in as a wicketkeeper batsman. And during the practice sessions, he worked very well. His work ethic is very good. What I would want to see is that people like Bramble and other guys that come into the team, get to this level, be as fit as possible. The standards of international cricket is very high. So obviously, guys in the franchise systems, they have to be as fit as possible when they get to international cricket. In terms of Kimo Paul, Kimo Paul is a brilliant cricketer, very good all-rounder. I think he has all the attributes to be a very good all-rounder. He bats well, he bowls well, very good fielder. He's very committed, his work ethic is high, he's a very fit young man. So I think the future is bright for Kimo.
So that's Coach Reefer talking there about Anthony Bramble and Kimo Paul. Now, the West Indies are the reigning World T20 champions, but from January 2018 to now, they played 20 matches and won just 4. And one of the factors that has been playing the team has been rotation of the strike. And we saw the West Indies having a record of being the team from the last World Cup to now hitting the most boundaries. But rotation of the strike has been an issue. And of course, we spoke about that today.
Yeah, especially, I think it's a strength in terms of hitting more boundaries. However, I know in this format, this T20 format, it allows him to escape more than often. Like, if you go back to the T20 World Cup in semi-final against India, they had 50 dot balls, but they still won the match, with 2 balls to spare and 7 with his hand. So it shows that, hitting boundaries is strength. But going forward, in terms of the 5th over format, even test cricket, we want to see West Indies rotate the strike more. And I think this is what Floyd Reefer was saying here today.
Rotation of strike is a problem we have in the Caribbean. You look at the scores in regional cricket, look at the scores in Super 50. The rotation strike is a problem there as well. So I believe that once we get it right at the franchise level, on the 19s, on the 17s, then when guys get to this level, then it becomes easier. You know, to teach the guy to rotate the strike right now. You know, it's going to take time. So things like that have to be done when franchise levels, where you teach guys rotation and strike, improve skill levels, the mindset, stuff like that. So we have to get the base right in terms of how guys train at franchise levels and how they prepare for games and stuff like that. In order when we get up to international cricket, that all these things will be embedded in us already in terms of our games, where we can rotate straight free. Yesterday thought that Robin Paula did it well. He got early boundary in the over and he rotated the strike, but as a unit, this is something that we are working on daily as a team. So it will take some time, but we'll get there. We know it's a problem, but we're working on it.
So tomorrow, that's the first T20 international to be played at Providence since 2010. And based on records in recent T20s, the team batting last has won 4 of the last 5 games here. The West Indies have been chopping and changing a bit. Tinkering with the batting lineup. We had Sulan Rai opening in the second game, and previous to that we had John Campbell. We made a few changes, Carrie Pierre coming in as well. So we might see some changes tomorrow at Providence, just to ensure that they get that balance right. Akeem, your thoughts on how things go tomorrow in terms of that final 11?
Well, for sure, I foresee already Fabian Allen coming straight back in for Carrie Pierre in 11, from what was spoken here today. And also, I hope that Anthony Bramble could get into the team. Right. Just on the basis, this is not anything being Guyanese only, on the basis of exposing talent. I know 2-1 would sound better than a 3-0 result, but at the same time, we tend to kill towards one stone. We're trying to see players who could possibly be in that 50-man squad next November. So for me, Anthony Bramble should be, even if he has to open the batting, right, etc., also should get back in John Campbell into the team. A bit unfair dropping after one match. So exactly, so she tried to get those players back into the team, see how they go, because more than likely those set players are going to be contending for spots come next November. So we want to see them back into the 11.
Yeah, and you have to remember Andrew Russell is still in the mix. So you try to get a combination right, and once you get an opportunity, as he mentioned, not much opportunities maybe leading up to the World Cup next year. So every opportunity you get as a player, you want to ensure that you grab it with both hands. Judging from what we've been hearing, Akeem, it seems as though we have a sold-out crowd. There's a lot of tickets not available at the moment, so we could expect a very good game starting at 10 hours 30 Guyana time. See you there. The biggest party in sport is back with the Euro-Caribbean Premier League 2019 from September 4 to October 12, featuring the Barbados Tridents, the Guyana Amazon Warriors, Jamaica Tallowers, St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, St. Lucia Stars, and defending champions Trinbago Knight Riders. Watch the finest regional and international players battle on pitch. Shot boy.
A century for the 21-year-old.
And now you can enjoy all the matches live on HD quality like you've never seen before. It's cleaner, crisper picture, and it's only with Networks, the exclusive broadcaster of CPL 2019. Welcome back to sport. We continue with some cricket news. The Ashes, England surrendered on the final day of the first test, giving Australia a crushing 251-run win and a 1-0 lead in the series. Needing to bat out the day to earn a draw, as chasing 398 to win was never in the offing. England at one stage lost 6 wickets for 37 runs on the way to being bowled out for 146 at Edgbaston. Off-spinner Nathan Lyon took advantage of the worn pitch to claim 6 for 49, while paceman Pat Cummings picked up 4 for 32 as the tourists searched the victory just before tea. It puts them ahead in Ashes series in the UK for the first time in 14 years. Final scores in the match: Australia 284 and 487 for 7 declared. England 374 and 146. And President David Granger was the guest of honor at the weekend when the Upper Mazaruni Games was held in Jawala Village, Region 7. Delivering feature remarks at the ceremony, the President spoke of the importance of inter-village sporting rivalry to his government. Apart from delivering feature remarks, the head of state greeted villagers and participating athletes and also observed the march past teams.
Residents of Upper Maz, sports are very important to us in the government. Sport is part of our culture, and here in the Upper Maz, you have led the rest of the country in terms of village sport and village organization. Sport is important for building self-confidence. Sport is important for discipline. Sport is important for fostering leadership, for winning and losing, Sport is important to the hinterland because our government is trying to erase the differences between the hinterland and coastland. And let me tell you this, there are many coastland villages who cannot put on a show that you put on today. Congratulations.
The president, in addressing athletes from the 16 participating villages, said through this event, the 4 C's, cooperation, competition, commitment, and cohesion, come to the fore. He lauded the village leaders for sustaining the games over 2 decades, thereby creating a sense of camaraderie among participating villages. The head of state noted that through these games, the youngsters learn valuable leadership skills that are critical to nation building.
Years gone by, I know young athletes from Parima, from Arau would walk distances to get to the venue. I think this year you might have been given assistance, but many people have to go to sacrifice to show the commitment and to show the cohesion. They want to be here every August to share in these Upper Mazuri district games. Upper Maz, your games are a model for the rest of the nation. This is not a political forum, and I wouldn't mention any political parties here, but this is a national forum, and Guyana is proud of you, wherever you're from. This is a model that I would like other districts and other regions to emulate. And believe me, when I go to Region 1, when I go to Region 6, when I go to Region 9, I tell them, look to Upper Maz, look to Region 7, and see how things are done. How young people, how district committees could organize successful games.
Football news now. The boys of Cummings Lodge and the girls of East Rheinfeldt have etched their names on the championship trophies of the ExxonMobil Under-14 Schools tournament. That football we're talking about. Both finals were played on Saturday at the Ministry of Education ground on Carifesta Avenue, and Akim Green was there to witness the action.
And it's good for Cummings Lodge and the championship title and bragging rights. Cummings Lodge, the 2019 ExxonMobil.
Those were received as Cummings Lodge completed a thrilling 5-4 win on penalty kicks over the Turbine Carmel Secondary. The match had ended 2-2 with goals being scored by Cummings Lodge captain Gisette Martinez, and for the defeated, the talented Ian Daniels made the conversions.
I like the game, but in the final half on Saturday, the team introduced so good.
How do you think the team played today?
Not so good.
You scored 2 big goals for your team. How do you feel scoring those goals for your team?
I feel very, very happy and happy.
For the efforts, Cummings Lodge won $300,000, which goes towards school projects, while Carmel copped $200,000. Martinez won the Most Valuable Player Award and the Golden Boot for 12 goals in the tournament, while $1,000 went towards Dolphin and $50,000 went towards Queenstown. Meanwhile, the girls' final, which was shifted from last weekend due to bad weather, saw 2018 semi-finalist East Rheinfeldt winning in the most fortuitous circumstances over New Campbell Secondary. Imani Magna was the culprit via an own goal in the 41st minute. The girls pressed their same as the boys. Additionally, former champions Charlestown Secondary had won their third place playoff 6-0 over Tugwell Secondary the previous weekend. Each Rheinfeldt Sherry Rodriguez copped the MVP award, while Charlestown's Carlita Ross had 6 goals to cop the Golden Boot prize. Timmy Mendonca reflected on how East got over the line.
The game was very hard. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for my coach, because he spent a lot of time helping us take balls and take and pass, because as first when we started we couldn't even kick a ball, and we just want to say thank you for him, and we just want to say that it was a very challenging game and we came out at the top. That is very good.
Co-director of the press organization, Troy Mendonca, thanked other partners in Denmark District Limited through its Pepsi brand, the Ministry of Public Health, in particular the Chronic Disease Prevention Unit, and the Ministry of Education for their part in pulling off a successful tournament. For the newsroom, Akim Green.
And finally, Gold is Money defeated All Boys Town B to win the Guest Greatest of the Streets Georgetown title at the weekend. Here again is Akeem Green.
Jeremy Jr.'s 50-minute tap-in proved to be the decisive goal in the riveting final, which was witnessed by a sizable gathering at Durban Park. It was no easy task keeping a clean sheet for the defending champions, as the talented Lennox court always had the defense on its heels, but even his skills was not enough to break through. The champions pocketed $500,000 on the spot at the national championship, which will be staged this weekend. For the effort, All Boys Town B won $300,000. In the third place playoffs, the 5-1 in the penalty kicks. After their match ended the goalless stalemate with Broad Street. $200,000 went to the Fire, while $100,000 was awarded to Broad Street. In the plate flight, which was contested for $60,000, Lead Gold Street won 2-0 over Sparta Boss. All 6 teams have also earned the berth at the national championship, will be slated for August 9th and 10th at Jubilee Park. The other teams to have sealed automatic berths to the event are Beacons from Bartica, Melanie B. East Coast Demerara, Birds United of West Demerara East Bank Zone, Trafalgar from Borbis, and Highway Holders from Linden. For the newsroom, Akeem Green.
And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, or our Facebook page, Newsroom Guyana. On behalf of the entire team here, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. See you back here tomorrow.